Yo, everybody, what's going on? Thank you for joining us at Drunk Unks Podcast. I know this looks a little different this week because we are not in the studio this week. We are at the crib, as you can see. We are all on spring break, so it's a little different, but still your favorite drunk Uncle Noon Belichick calling all the plays.
Yo, it's your boy Campaign J, man. We here, live, not in studio, but we back. We back, baby. Got the whole crew back, man. Let's turn up.
Whole crew, gang all here.
Sir, hey, welcome back, everybody. Sean Ragland here once again, checking live from at home. Got a great show for you guys, so thanks for tuning in again. So let's get into it, Jimmy.
Yep, Jim Hicks here. Excited to be here for the second season. Ready to get shit popping, man. Let's get it going.
Yeah, man. Jay, start us off, man. We got some good topics today.
Yeah, man, we're gonna have some really good topics for today. I'm gonna start us off with the news and what's going on around the league a little bit, and around the association as well too. But let's kick it off here, man. Starting off first with the NFL. We as we come into draft season, we got a lot of news going on, a lot of trades possibly brewing up. And with that being said, there's a lot of hype going around certain players. That said player being JJ McCarthy. As the hype continues to grow, Harbaugh, and as y'all saw, as I'm sure y'all saw last week, Harbaugh said, it was the best draft pro day that he's ever seen, and that JJ is the best quarterback in the draft, and all of the hype and all of the nonsense with that, man. But according to CBS Sports Kyle Stackpole, the NFL media has recently said this week that execs that are familiar with the new Commanders GM Adam Peters are saying that they're expecting to take JJ McCarthy at the number 2 pick. With that being said, it's a lot of smoke and mirrors around this time of the year, so we don't know how much truth we can really go into that, but it is just showing how much the hype has grown behind McCarthy coming into this season and going into the draft. The Cardinals also, what we're talking about draft news, are open to moves at the number 4 pick. The Cardinals recently said this past week that they're open to talks for the number 4 pick. The Cardinals hold the number 4 pick and the number 27 overall pick this year in the draft. And they could be looking to add more value to the team other than just, selecting somebody at the number 4 pick who we all think would be Marvin Harrison Jr. from League Neighbors. As we go on around association, we're going to switch it over to the NBA a little bit. As y'all saw last night, Wemby went for a career high 40 points, 20 rebounds, as the Spurs beat the New York Knicks in overtime and defeating Brunson's 61-point game, his career high of all time, which is crazy. Wemby has been balling these last couple of weeks and these last couple of months, honestly. And as y'all saw at the end of the game, the other big news of the game, besides the 40 points, was he threw the ball into the stands, so Brunson couldn't get a chance to get his game ball. That also drops the Knicks down to 4th place in the East at 44-29, right behind the Cavaliers, who were sitting at 45-29. So that game yesterday was a huge game for the Knicks to drop. And Wemby is just continuing his role as he's averaging 21, 10.5, and 3 assists, 3 blocks, and a steal as well, too. In other news around association, we have Jalen Green and the Rockets continue to roll with their 11th straight win. Jalen Green drops 34, which moves the Rockets into 11th place in the West, 38-35, right behind Golden State, who was sitting at 39-34 for that 10th place spot for the play-in the Western Conference. And some other news around, just, some sports. We had Sauce Gardner, who recently issued an apology for his statement of saying that Jews run the world while on the, he actually said, quote, I'm going to give you guys the exact quote. He said, Jews run the world. They got so much motion throughout the whole world. While on the live stream with Aiden Ross, who is Jewish, Sauce went on to continue to say, after he said this, people kind of gave him a little bit of backlash and, he needs to learn a little bit of history about the Jews. And, so he came back and said, he loves all people. And while his intentions were positive, he has learned those exact words have been shared towards hate for Jewish people. And he goes on to say that's not what he was about. And he appreciates those who took the time to educate him on that subject. And then in other news, what we're going to get to, I'm excited to talk about as well, which has happened in the recent weeks since we've been on break. The Steelers have made the trade for Justin Fields. They also signed Russell Wilson.
You want to talk about some of these?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about some of these. Yep. We're gonna talk about this one first because I like this one. I think this would be a good subject as well too. But Justin Fields and they got Russell Wilson as well too. Mac Jones was also traded to Jacksonville, and Kenny Pickett was traded to the Eagles after not wanting to stay in Pittsburgh with them signing Russell Wilson. So as we get into some of these, the first one I'm excited to dive into a little bit is what happened in the weeks while we were off. So let's get into like that Steelers, Justin Fields and Russell Wilson and some of those other quarterbacks that kind of moved around. Let's open it up with the Steelers and Justin Fields. I'm interested to see your opinion. Sean, give me what you got for that one. What happened with that? See happening. Starts. Russell Wilson. What's going on?
Jay, your mic messing up.
Yeah, no. I thought it was a good move by the Steelers. So want to get Justin Fields. Obviously, they got Russell Wilson as well, so they wanted to bring in a veteran quarterback in the room. I'm not the biggest Russell Wilson guy, so I understand why they did it. Maybe as far as they don't want Justin Fields to potentially go out there and just ball out, because I know they have to sign him at the end of the year. So I understand it from a Steelers perspective. Me personally, I kind of would have just took a shot at Justin Fields. I don't really understand the approach of bringing in Russell Wilson, because I just think he's kind of cooked personally. I think it's worth a shot for the Steelers. So want to take a shot at Justin Fields, and I know the Steelers, they don't really want to go into the draft mode as far as developing a totally young rookie quarterback. So I understand it, but it's just a typical Steelers move. It doesn't really move me that much. So excited to see the Steelers. I don't know. What do you think about it?
Did he ask you? I'll chime in. So I think for the Steelers, I've talked to a lot of Steelers fans. I know a lot of Steelers fans, our friends, my coworkers and whatnot, and they all kind of say the same thing.
Your roommate.
My roommate specifically. But the general consensus I've got is, with the Steelers, the worst thing they could do is lose at this point. Like, sure, yeah, they have Russ. He's going to be started for them. They kind of guaranteed him the starter spot when they signed him, but he's on a 1-year deal. And then they went and traded for Justin Fields, basically for scraps, essentially, for him to be the backup. So if Russ either A, doesn't play well, or B, he plays really well and he ends up, retiring or going somewhere else, they always have the backup with Justin Fields. So it was like they made the moves to get they have Arthur Smith, I feel like he'll be a good pickup for the Steelers to get their offense rolling. Obviously, they have a great run game already, and just kind of building around that young team. And I think, obviously, with Justin at least getting a year behind Russ to kind of learn from him and kind of be under his wing. He hasn't really had that a mentor that's been in the league, let alone win a Super Bowl for a team. So he can kind of, pick up from him. And then when it is time for Justin Fields to take over, I think he'll be in a good spot. And I think the Steelers will be in a good spot, too, going forward. So I think they made great moves personally. I don't have any, dog in the Steelers fight, because we in the NFC as a Lions fan. But, it's cool to see them, finally take that step that they needed to take as a championship contending franchise.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy, man. They had like one of the best off seasons I've seen probably in a long time, probably since that Jaguars when they made that Jacksonville team, when they kind of produced that team over there. That's kind of what it reminds me of. It's like the whole new team. It's like they brought all new people in, and they actually brought quarterbacks in. It's the first time we ever see the Steelers go out there and grab a quarterback, because they drafted Big Ben, so it was like we haven't seen them go trade for a quarterback since Big Ben or anything. So it's like eye-opening, but it's still fuck the Steelers. Still got to play football.
That's true. That's true.
Getting people. Still got to win the game.
So personally for me, man, I'm with Sean, bro. I don't think this moves the needle at all for me, honestly. I don't see really what this does for them in the AFC North at all. I don't think this really puts them up too much. And this is, I'm going to get that hate from Tyler, Craig, and Khalid, and you hating. But in reality, for me, you got two cut quarterbacks. You got an old cut quarterback and you got a young cut quarterback. I think Russell Wilson, personally, we all saw him, what he did these last few years in Denver, and even what his last year he did in Seattle wasn't the best. And I think with Justin Fields, man, he had 3 years to show us really what he could work with in Chicago and never showed us really anything. So look, here y'all go with that face. So I'm not even gonna get into it.
That's crazy, bro.
So what does he show? What did he show you? What did he show you?
Bro, first of all, it's okay. So it's 50. To me, it's 50-50. We can't just put the blame all on Justin Fields. OC was not calling players to adjust to him. Like, it just like he came into a shitty ass system. He had no number one receivers. His O-line was fucking putrid. Like, the defense was cool, but like he don't got no targets, no run game, nothing. Like, they had David Montgomery, got rid of him. Then they had who they have after them? Khalil Herbert. Like what the fuck?
I mean, but bro, I think a quarterback. I think when we talk about a quarterback, how people want to talk about Justin Fields, you have to be able to overcome some of that, and he wasn't able to overcome any of it. And at any point,
bro.
And even this past year, go ahead, Sean.
I was gonna say, I think my issue with it is that you're putting Justin Fields in probably a worse offense than he was in Chicago. Like, I mean, towards the end of the year, Justin Fields was playing a little bit better, like, especially when he came back from that injury. I thought DJ Moore, that was the first time he actually had a true number one wide receiver to actually get the ball out to. So I think it was doing better. I think, that was better for his development and his confidence just to have a person that he could trust. But I think the problem is the rest of the offense. And I'm not an Arthur Smith guy. I mean, Arthur Smith has had a habit of not putting the ball in the best player's hands. Obviously, ask any fantasy football owner, like in America, when he was with the Falcons, he didn't get Kyle Pitts the ball really. He didn't get Drake London the ball. B.J. Robinson, who was their first round draft pick, that was a top 10 draft pick as a running back. He was playing carries with Tyler Algier. So I just think he's going to a worse offense. I get it from their perspective. You might as well take a shot at it, but I just think the Steelers and their culture, as far as they don't want to necessarily tank. I mean, at some point, you're going to have to kind of blow the whole thing up, and probably going to have to look for another coach as far as the Tomlin. Because personally, if I'm bringing in a young quarterback, I want an offensive guy as my head coach, because anytime an offensive coordinator with a quarterback has success, he eventually just ends up getting a head coaching job. So I think they're building it the wrong way, but I mean, it's the Steelers. It seems like they're just happy with kind of going 980 or 500 and winning 9 games. So it is what it is.
Well,
and I completely agree with that, Sean.
I was gonna say I get your point on that too, Sean, because like obviously Arthur Smith wasn't great in Atlanta, and yes, he did have these weapons like Kyle Pitts and he had Bijan and whatnot. But at the end of the day, like you have to realize Desmond Ridder was the quarterback, and I think we can all agree that Desmond Ridder is not a better quarterback than either Justin Fields or Russell Wilson at this point in his career. Personally,
the worst quarterback.
So, so that's what I'm saying. So it's like. So you put Arthur Smith in this new role with this team that needs help with their offense. Like, look what he did last year with the run game. The Falcons' run game was great the last few years. Maybe not last year so much because they had a little issue with Bijan and whatnot. But the year before that, they had Tyler Algier had 1,000 yards. He was a 1,000-yard runner.
Rookie season.
So it's like, and so now he's got two guys that could produce 1,000-yard years in Najee and Jaylen Warren, and he's got. A couple. I mean, obviously he's got Russ, and to be fair, Russ did not play well his first year in Denver. But his second year in Denver, it was all right. It was up and down, but he ended the season pretty strong. I feel like until he came to Detroit and had to see us. But other than that, I feel like him being in this new offense and a new, everybody says everybody needs to change the scenery every once in a while. So you have that. Arthur Smith going to a new team. He's solely on the offense now. He don't have to focus on the whole team. He can solely focus on getting the offense what they need, making sure Justin Fields or Russ, whoever it is, has the weapons around him. And I'm not necessarily saying they have great weapons, but I mean, there's still a lot of time left in the offseason. They can go make moves. They can go draft somebody, move up in the draft and get a receiver. But they have they've shown a lot of improvement in terms of, okay, how do we go from being a 9-8 team every year to being back into a playoff contending, Super Bowl contending team that we've known? Because Steelers fans are getting tired of it. Clearly, they're not used to the mediocrity of being in the middle of the pack every year and finishing barely over 500.
But this has been 15 years though. This has been 15 years for them, true. So they got to kind of be used to it at this point. It's been a very
long time. Absolutely. And I feel like this is the right step for them to do it. They don't have Kenny anymore. So, like, they have no excuse. The worst thing they could do now with all the moves that they made is lose.
Yep.
So,
and
I mean, that's
what
it comes down to at the end of the day.
And kind of sticking with the NFL. So real quick question, and I guess while we're wrapping up this subject of the trade and the Steelers and everything. We don't talk about the Steelers that much. Yeah. But I just want to, thank you. But I just want to get your opinions though. Do you think, I want to get each of y'all just quick yes or no. Do y'all think this moves them anything in the AFC North? Where do you think they finish at in the AFC North? Give me your answer. Go ahead, Jimmy, and they'll move to Sean and Tico wrap it up after that one.
Ooh. I think they'll finish. I think I got them in the top 2 in the AFC North. To be honest,
I want to hear this. You got them number 2 as well.
Obviously, I think the Browns are the worst team in the AFC North. I feel like the moves that they made were just kind of like. Obviously their defense is still there, but like they still have Deshaun Watson as a quarterback. So, who knows how he's going to play this year? I imagine he's not going to have some crazy comeback year. And we see how it is with guys that take a year off. They don't come back the same. So it's like, I don't see them being any better than the Steelers. And then the Bengals, who knows? So it's like, I don't know. You got the Ravens, obviously.
I think the Ravens are going to be number 1. I think that's consensus, but I think it's kind of up in the air for the rest of it. But
I think not for me consensus.
I think I'm going to take. I think with Joe Burrow, Yeah, I think with Burrow coming back, I think with Burrow coming back, and I think just really with the Browns in general, we saw Joe Flacco lead them to the playoffs. I think Deshaun Watson just has to come in and play decent, and they'll be good. But I also wanted to touch on a little bit as some other stories throughout the NFL that we had talked about while I was introducing the hype of JJ McCarthy, man, and the possibility of him being a number 2 pick and a number 2 quarterback off of the board. And what do you guys think about that, man? Reading from me, and kind of what I've been seeing throughout the little Chargers, boardrooms and things like that. Do you think that this could be smoke and mirrors from JJ McCarthy? Or I'm gonna let you go first, Cole. I'm gonna let you go first. But do you think this could be smoke and mirrors from McCarthy? Do you guys really believe that the Commanders are interested in taking McCarthy at the number 2 pick? And do you think McCarthy is the second best quarterback, I guess, really in the draft? Like, this is kind of crazy to say. But go ahead, Cole. Let me hear what you got to say about this.
Like, bro, we do this every year, and I still don't fucking understand why we do it every fucking year. It blows my mind. These kids play a whole season, and then a kid from buttfuck nowhere just comes out of nowhere during the combine. This guy's gonna be the next fucking Joe Montana. This guy's gonna be Steve.
Man.
Not like Drake May. Like, come on, bro. Like, what are we doing? Okay, back to
JJ McCarthy. But respectfully though, Drake May has been in a conversation for the number 2 quarterback before the season started.
But Mr. Trubisky was too. So it's like what? Why do we do this every year? Like,
you got a good point. Go ahead.
Quarterback that's decent, and then we're like, oh, this motherfucker, he did a cross-body pass against nobody. No rushers against me. Do a cross-body pass. They never show game highlights. When they hype these people up, they never show any game highlights. It's just fucking cross-body throwing like Zach Wilson. Anyways, back to JJ McCarthy. I think JJ McCarthy is probably pure. I put him at number 4. I got my guy Jaden Daniels. I got him number 1, honestly. And then I will go with Penix as far as pure passing. Then I will go. I think I'll go JJ 3rd. I think I'll go JJ.
Where's Caleb Williams at?
Oh, my bad.
That's what I'm like.
I'm tweaking.
He said Jay number 1
because Caleb is the best passer out of all of them. He can make all the throws, but I think all the off the field shit. That's what. So I think JJ 4 or 5.
So do you think that this is smoke and mirrors from Harbaugh? Or like, what do you think?
I think it's one of the things where he was hyping one of his players up, so his draft stock goes up, like, because he did coach. I don't think he'd be a damn fool to take JJ McCarthy when y'all got Justin Herbert. Like,
let me also pose. I don't think Harbaugh is going to take him, but he's sitting at that number 5 pick.
Yeah,
and that also boosts the value of that number 5 pick if you hyping this quarterback up to say, hey, he's here. He may not be here at the number 5. We got the number 5 pick. We open the talk. Blah blah blah. Like, what do you think, Sean? Like, give me your opinion real quick.
Well, if Harbaugh trades that number 5 pick, he should be arrested because Justin Herbert needs some fucking help. And nowhere in his right mind would he should only be thinking about how can I help Justin Herbert develop. So that's one. 2, so obviously I'm a big Ohio State fan. So as an Ohio State fan, I've seen every Michigan game, damn near every snap this year from them. And I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say JJ McCarthy is a bad quarterback necessarily, but at no point throughout the year where did I have a mindset that thinking that he would be a top 10 quarterback. And like Cole said, it happens every year where you have the 3 guys that we kind of get probably just tired talking about throughout the year with Caleb Williams, Drake May, and Jaden Daniels. So I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that the NFL pushed the draft back and farther back to where the season ended compared to where they did in the previous year. So I think that just leaves more room for us to talk, more room for us to kind of dissect these guys a little bit more. But just from what I've seen, I haven't seen anything to where I feel like I need to go get JJ McCarthy, where I need to go trade real assets to go up and get him. I would probably put Caleb 1. I put Drake May 2. I'm a really big Drake May fan. I think he's going to be a star. I put Jaden 3 just from the athletic ability, but I mean, if you want to be optimistic, I think you can maybe make an argument between JJ McCarthy and Jaden Daniels. Just from the perspective of Jaden Daniels is 24, and if you want to have more of the upside, you can look at JJ McCarthy just being younger and having those 2 years as a consistent starter. But I mean, nothing really jumps off the page for me as JJ McCarthy. I think that a lot of people will say that he wasn't asked to do much because Michigan's team was good, and granted that is true. But Harbaugh's an NFL coach, and as an NFL coach, if he knew he had an NFL guy, they would be airing it out way more than they did. So I think that's all something too.
Preach.
Go ahead, Jimmy. Go ahead, Jimmy, and I'm gonna get my
I have
opinion. Yeah, go ahead, Jimmy, and I'm gonna get my. I gotta get my take.
On this. So a couple things. To Sean's point about trading, him potentially trading out of the top, out of the fifth spot. I don't think it's necessarily him trying to get somebody to trade up into that fifth spot. I think it's him trying to get somebody to trade up into that fourth spot with the Cardinals to take a quarterback. Because I think now it's not necessarily that, oh, JJ's a top 10 quarterback and he's this and that, but we have a very deep quarterback class, and there are definitely more than enough teams that are needing a quarterback. So obviously you have the top three, you have the Bears, you have the Commanders, and you have the Patriots, but then you have a team like the Vikings, you have a team like the Raiders that have these picks and these assets to where they could move up with a team like the Cardinals that doesn't need a quarterback to potentially take a JJ McCarthy. Or if it's not a JJ McCarthy and he goes to the Patriots at 3, then it could be a Drake May. But I feel like it's not necessarily the talent that's there for him, even though I do think personally he is the talent to be a top 5, top 4 quarterback in this class, arguably top 3, just from obviously what I've seen. And there might be a little bit of bias in there as a Michigan fan, but I mean, the guy's only lost 1 game. He's been coached by Jim Harbaugh, who has coached great quarterbacks in NFL and in college. When you have Andrew Luck, you have Alex Smith, you have obviously Colin Kaepernick when he was playing in San Francisco, but like you have these guys that are just like, he knows how to coach a quarterback. And so him being with him, especially for the last 2 years as a starter and just kind of getting him prepared to be at the next level, I feel like he has that on top of the mentally, I feel like he's there to be, hey, I'm the guy that could take the team over. So it could be, a move for him to get another team up into that 4th spot so that he can have to worry about not having to see if Marvin's still there, if, Malik Neighbors is still there. I feel like he'll just have the pick of the litter at that point.
Yep. And I'm glad you actually said that, Jimmy, because you touched on a couple of things that I wanted to pause. No Diddy, but that I wanted to actually talk on a little bit. But when we talked about that, when we talk about the number 4 pick, and we talk about Arizona, who I mentioned earlier, who said they're open for business at that number 4 pick. I think you get some things there that you might be open to as well. There, we talked about the Vikings, who really like McCarthy. Those are the rumors that I've been hearing right now. So I could, you could see something like that. And the Vikings now hold the number 11 and the number 29 pick, I believe, in this year's draft.
23.
23. Okay, it's 23. So that boosts the value there. We know that they're looking for a quarterback. We know Kirk Cousins is leaving, and them trying to keep Justin Jefferson at this point. They're going to do everything that they can, I think, to try to get somebody in there, hopefully sooner rather than later. But a couple of things that you talked about, Jim, as well too, is I think McCarthy showed. Okay, so he wasn't forced to do a lot as a quarterback this year, but in the moments where he needed to, he bought, because there's a lot of moments in our Ohio State game where he showed up big time, throwing on the run, completing a lot of passes. And even last year's game where he's, scrambling around and getting those yards that he needed to pick up for first downs and a lot of big moments. I think McCarthy, I think I heard a comp earlier this week when I was listening to John Middlecoff podcast, and he comped him to Alex Smith. Alex Smith back with Kansas City, where he was literally just a great game manager of the team. And that's not a knock on guys. I think people say, you hear that game manager word and people think it's a knock on people, and it's but in reality, depending on the type of team that you go to, sometimes that's all you need to be. And that's what he was with Michigan this year. He wasn't forced to do a lot this year. He was a great game manager. And I think with that, I think a team that has enough built around them, I think JJ can flourish. But I do think if you're getting JJ, I hope you know that he's not going to be starting. I don't see him starting as a rookie. I would think that you would sit him for a year at least, and then let him learn behind somebody. But I don't think guys get that luxury anymore. So
they don't. We don't move on to different standards now.
I mean, hey, so. Here's the thing, though, right? And I think, Cole, you feeling a lot of feelings about this because now he potentially going over your boy Jaden, and so that's why you feeling some type of way. But in reality, I think this is smoke and mirrors, though. I will say that I think this whole thing is smoke and mirrors. I do think Washington is going to take Drake May or Jaden Daniels. I could really see McCarthy more likely going to the Patriots than I could the Commanders. personally,
Right.
at the number 3 pick. And if I saw any of the quarterbacks dropping, I could see it being Drake May, and I could see him possibly being the guy that ends up Minnesota tries to snag. I know Denver is in looks for a quarterback, and I don't think that they'll be able to get any of these guys that we're talking about here because they're like the number 11. But I can see some of these moves kind of, or number 12 or 13 maybe, and I can see some of these moves kind of happening. But the last thing I wanted to wrap on before we move on to the next subjects a little bit was the NBA and kind of talking about Wemby, man. And that 40-point game he had last night, 40-20, and even Brunson dropping 61, man. Like, damn, like that hey, they was cooking going into OT. It was a good game, man. I had to actually go back. I didn't personally watch the game, but I had to go back and do my research on it to see kind of what was going on a little bit, man. And hey, Wemby scary. Hey, and
league is his.
Hey, no, it's his. Hey, it's his. Hey,
Can we
his.
one thing before we talk about that, bro? Can we talk about fucking DeJounte? This is what I'm sick of. This is what I'm sick of.
Hey, yeah. Please touch on that. Please touch on that. No Diddy.
He had, I'm gonna touch on that. But I'm so sick of people doing. Kobe will be proud of me. Like, let that man rest in peace, bro. You have 44 points on 44 shots. That is nasty work.
Kobe's not proud of that.
That shit.
Kobe's not proud of that.
Rolling in his grave. He is rolling.
Kobe's pissed.
In his grave.
Hey, they should be sending a lawsuit, a cease and desist to that nigga for that because he needs to stop it.
Crazy. We gotta stop this. Let that man rest.
So I have one thing I will say about that the Spurs Knicks game last night, because I did tune in towards the end. One, because I had the Knicks -9, and obviously they didn't cover that because they sold the game and got blown out for the most part. But a couple things. One, Jalen Brunson did have 61 last night, which is awesome for him. Did not break the record, franchise record. It's still held by Carmelo Anthony, so there's that for you. Mm-hmm. But also, this man Wemby is just like, he's so special. I watched this man. He caught the ball on the wing. I forgot who I stepped up to guard him, but obviously it wasn't. He took a dribble to the inside and hit like a fadeaway 3 to ice the game, and I was like, man, this dude is.
Bro, that shouldn't be looking so simple.
Hey, man.
Around like that shouldn't be.
Hey, man, it was crazy because I'm sure y'all remember this, and I'm gonna go ahead and put this out there because I'm honest, man. I'm honest when I have bad takes, and I have a few of them. But this was one, where I was going into this season as well too, and I was saying, I was like, it's gonna be between Scoot and Wemby. I'm like, Scoot and Wemby, and I was like, Scoot might even be able to get the rookie. Look at your face, Scoot.
Nice too.
Yeah. It was wild. So my thing was though, like I said, my thing about it was if Wemby could stay healthy. I was worried about Wemby because it's just his size, pause, his length, and everything. Come on, man. Look, hey.
Elaborate on that.
Hey, yo. So he's lengthy. He doesn't have a lot of girth to him. So it's like a lot of things. Come
on,
hey,
come on, man. Hey, come on.
You do love Wemby.
He knew what he was doing with that.
Hey, man.
He knew exactly what he was doing with that.
Hey, man. Jesus.
That's crazy.
Jesus. But no, man, real talk though. But seriously though, like I was concerned about his health, and but man, since like January, really, like he's been on a roll, and I guess really what I want to kind of discuss is, it's what I got 3.4. He's averaging 3.4 blocks a game, bro, as a rookie.
It's crazy.
That's crazy. So like his stat line is 21. He's averaging 21 points a game, 10.5 rebounds, 3.6 assists, 3.4 blocks, 1.2 steals. He's shooting 47% from the field, 32% from the 3, and pretty much 89% from the free throw.
So like, splits are crazy. Those splits are crazy, bro.
That's just like my career numbers.
So I'm gonna ask y'all, man. So this is a real question, and now that we really can look at it because we got a good sample size, is this the best rookie season we've saw in recent memory from a player?
Yes.
Recent memory, yeah.
Like, okay, let's say we're in 2024. I mean, really, since let's say Brian. Let's say since Brian. Let's say since Brian. No, seriously, because that's the last, but like Brian will average 21 his rookie year, just about, or something around there. So I mean, I think at that point, like, what is a better rookie season we've saw than what we're seeing right now out of Wemby?
I don't think you ever honestly so you got Brian doing his season and just with his stature and his level. I was watching a podcast yesterday the Numbers on the Board podcast. My guys, I've been watching them for a long time, but they were saying like you don't have like when it comes to like LeBron, he was a superstar in high school.
Mhm.
So it's like you have to back it up essentially. And then you look at Wemby, everybody knew about Wemby 2 years ago. Like, oh, when he gets into the draft,
Rudy
he's gonna be the
Gobert
next
video.
big thing. And yeah, oh
Mhm.
yeah, Rudy, like there were people hip to Wemby's game, and obviously like you would see little, bits and pieces and highlights of his game like overseas and thinking that it wasn't gonna translate, but he came over to the league and just like I mean, Lucas said it when he first came over, like it's easier to score in the NBA. Like it's way easier to score in the NBA. So I feel like for him, the game was already just kind of it took him a little bit, but now he's kind of easing in and realizing he's the best out there whenever he
Hey.
plays most of the time. Like he just like
That's
I
I
don't
mean,
think we're gonna see a
so
better rookie season.
I mean, and the thing is too is like, bro, like I mean, I was saying like in 4 to 5 years, Wemby could be the best player in the league. Like this nigga could be the best player in the league next year.
Next
Like,
year.
like next
Not
year,
now.
he could really be in that conversation. Like
shit is crazy, bro.
he'll be top 5, I think, damn near by next year, bro. Like,
Yeah, this
Yeah.
shit-
what you guys say,
He'll
Sean?
be the
What you guys say?
Yeah, well, hey, apologize to the audience. We'll get the technical difficulties figured out later. But I'll say this. I'll say probably Magic Johnson. I know it's gonna sound like an old head, but Magic Johnson did go to the playoffs his rookie year. People kind of forget about that.
He won the finals his rookie year, didn't he?
Yeah,
He did win the finals,
I mean,
yeah.
and finals MVP.
Oh,
Yeah.
baby, last team here, y'all.
pretty hard.
Oh my
pretty hard to
God.
top that. But
Oh,
I mean,
man.
Wemby's special. I think the biggest thing going forward is how they're going to build the team around him. Because I think that Pop, I don't really know what Pop is doing as a GM. I mean, they just need to get a point guard in general in the draft. So I think that'll help him a lot as far as to getting him set up to be successful. Because I think the one thing that Wemby is generational, but I think when it comes down to these late in games, you still don't necessarily want him initiating the offense. You want him to kind of be working with somebody, like I said, a good point guard sort of thing. So,
Right.
I mean, what we say from Wemby is incredible. He's going to be a multi-time defensive player of the year. He'll probably try to compete for an all NBA spot next year if his numbers are up there. But I mean, obviously, what we've seen has been incredible.
I mean, bro,
When
I was about to say he could be all NBA this year, like all NBA third team possibly, and I think he could be defensive player of the year this year, like damn near.
I think with Cat being hurt and with Joel being out, obviously that 65 game limit of being able to be to get the in season awards, I feel like maybe
He's
he
in
could
that-
slip
he's
into
in that
like
conversation.
he could slip into
That
like
third
a
team.
NBA third team All NBA.
Yeah, I
like,
can see it. I can see
I
it,
can
bro.
see it.
And I can see defensive player of the year this year as well, too, possibly. Like, who else is in the conversation with him?
It's
Only
like-
him and Rudy.
I mean, Rudy.
It's him and
Yeah,
Rudy.
but I mean, he's like I looked up the statistics. I mean, he's averaging almost a block more a game than Rudy. Like,
He is, but
it's-
Rudy,
it's-
like
I
I
think
was
I
just
think
looking
the
at the
thing.
odds.
What would you
Go
say?
ahead.
Go ahead. No, you
I
said
was
you
just looking at
the
the odds for defensive player of the year, just glancing at it real quick because we were talking about it over the weekend, and I think it was Rudy 1, like clear favorite, and then 2 was Wemby, like right behind him, and then everybody else. So it was like it's really a 2-man race, but I honestly think it's probably going to be Rudy unless Wemby, continues to keep playing how he's been playing. I feel like he could definitely jump him at the end of the season.
I think it's the rankings as well too, with the Spurs being so low and obviously the Timberwolves competing for the top 3 spot in the West right now. I think that's going to be a part, and then obviously with Wemby being a rookie as well too, they probably would nod towards Rudy over Victor. But I think in reality, we know that Victor probably is a defensive player of the year.
Yeah, I want to switch gears though, man. I want Sean to take us away, man. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of this motherfucker, man. Let's get into the degenerate section.
Yeah, so I mean, let's first talk about March Madness. I think the main thing we've seen this March Madness is it's been kind of chalky after the end of the first round. You saw a lot of upsets with Oakland getting the win over Kentucky. So I think it's always fun when you get those first round matchups, but I think it's a little better when you get those higher seed or you get the teams that are supposed to win, the favorites that are moving on, because we've got some bangers here going on. So obviously we're getting down to the Elite Eight here. UConn is still the heavy favorite. They're plus 100 right now to win the tournament, which is kind of unheard of when you think about it, seeing as they still have to win 3 more games in order for them to win the championship. But we got 3 plays here for you guys today. number one, we're gonna go with UConn minus 8.5. In their game against Illinois. I think a lot of people are gonna be on Illinois just because they don't want to necessarily follow the UConn trade, and a lot of people fall into the trap of you got to be contrarian. A lot of people try to think that the public's gonna be on UConn, so I got to go Illinois. But the public's been killing it with this tournament, and I think that matchup wise, there's a couple things that are going to be working against Illinois here because UConn's top 10 in offense and defense in KenPom. They just have so many ways where they can beat you. Donovan Klingen's been tremendous in the tournament, so I think we go with 8.5. And if you look at the past 2 years for UConn, they've beaten everyone at least by double digits and have covered the spread by a wide margin. So that's my first best bet. I'll throw in a 1A, 1B bet along with UConn. Just throw the plus 100 on them to win a championship. They're not going to lose. I think they're probably going to more likely play Purdue, which that'll probably be a good game, but you still got to go with UConn at the end of the day. So we'll go with UConn minus 8.5. Second bet we'll go with Purdue minus 3.5. I think a lot of people wanted to try to fade Purdue just because the past 2 years they've been folding in the early rounds of the tournament, but I think that they've really learned something from them, and a lot of people try to hate on Zach Edey, and I get it. It's not fun basketball to watch. I don't see Colin, but I know it's not fun to just watch him throw the ball down the paint, just have him rumble and get those cooks. But it's effective at the end of the day. And if it's not broke, why not fix it? But I do think they are playing well. And one thing about Zach Edey, I will give him credit for, is that he doesn't get into foul trouble. I think a lot of teams try to, go in with the hope that he might get in foul trouble just because he's so big. But he really does a good job at not getting into foul trouble. He's only fouled out once this whole year, which, I mean, as much time as he touches the ball, that's pretty impressive. So we'll go with 3.5 with them. And then I think the third one we'll go with UNC State plus 6.5. Now, this one, a lot of people are trying to, classify them as the Cinderella, which they are the 6th seed, so they are the lowest remaining seed in the tournament. So technically, they would be a Cinderella, by standards. But I really think I think it's a good matchup with them against Duke. I think you got to take it to the fact that they play in the same conference. So I think with a 6.5, a plus 6.5 spread, that's a pretty big spread for two teams that are pretty familiar with each other. I think the big guy, DJ Burns, I think he's going to give Kyle Filipowski a little bit of issues. Kyle Filipowski is obviously going to be probably a top 15 pick in the NBA draft, but I think he struggles with guys with a little bit more size, no Diddy. So I think he's going to have a little bit of trouble like in the paint with him. And then Duke's got pretty lucky. They haven't really had a tough road, especially with Sheed getting hurt in that Houston game last night. So I just think that this one, you just got to play the numbers, and they kind of do have that magical, it just feels like it's their time right now type of sense. So I think you lay the points and go with the plus 6.5 with Duke. But I want to hear what you guys have been thinking about the tournament. I don't know if you guys think it's just UConn all the way, or if you think Purdue has a chance. Like, Tico, what you think?
I think me and Jimmy was kind of on the same boat with the Kentucky thing. I thought Coach Kyle was going to show us something a little different this year, man. I thought he's going to give us something. But, they were terrible on defense, and that's what killed them at the end of the day this year. But the tournaments have been great. It's really been, like you said, it's been very, like the people who are supposed to win this year have been winning. The first round was like, okay, goddamn. But then after that, it kind of was like, it ran its course. It wasn't like any huge upsets after that. Don't knock this, because I always do this every year. I try to find one random ass team to like be a sleeper. And I thought it was between San Diego State and New Mexico State. And New Mexico State failed me. San Diego State, they had their business up until they didn't no more, which was yesterday. They got ass whooped. They fought hard for the first half.
Yeah.
They fought hard as hell, but I love March Madness, man. This shit is great.
So
real quick, I gotta take ownership because I did give out Creighton as that best bet long shot in the pot. So that's my bad, y'all. I thought that game against Tennessee, they had their chances, but Tennessee that was just a bad matchup for them. They kind of muck it up.
Power, man.
Yeah, so we had to go on with Creighton, but we'll try to get them again next year.
So wait, let me hear y'all. Who you taking in that NC State Duke game?
NC State plus 6.5. That's good. That's gonna be the pick for that.
Okay, you're gonna be good for that one.
I like that as well.
I think I might take that NC State money line. I'm feeling a little risky, a little frisky there. A little frisky.
You can do that.
What you think?
I mean, if you've been taking a money line this whole tournament, you'd be up by a lot. So they are one of those teams where it does feel like they're either going to win or not cover sort of thing. So if you want to keep riding that magical trade, you might as well just take a money line to get some good value. I think they're probably around plus 330. So why not take a shot at it at this point? It's March Madness.
And now that we talk about the March Madness as well, too, don't forget we are doing our tournament, man, for the $50 reward. So we still got that going on. So what was you about to say?
The fucking drunk Unk is winning. He's not fucking number one right now.
Who is Raglan?
Yeah, Raglan that number one.
He came
not
back.
Anymore. Not anymore. Because Creighton just fucking sold the bag. So
yeah,
who not going to beat us here? We had a good run. I was in the 99th percentile for the most of the tournament.
Damn.
I try to be different. And
I'm about to pull it up while we talking about it real quick. Let's see.
So, first place right now is Craig. Craig
is
in
Craig?
first place right now.
Oh,
yeah, Craig is in first.
Oh,
basically, what it comes down to is he's got 660 points. He's tied with somebody else that also has Tennessee winning. So technically, if Tennessee wins, may as well lose. But if UConn ends up winning, then I think he'll end up winning the whole thing.
All right,
we
well,
just talked about
Greg.
that last night. So
congrats, Greg. We'll see you $50. They're not losing.
Yeah. No, I don't see them losing either. Which is what I was
going
to say.
I got Carolina too. I'm in 22nd. I'm not even in competition, but I do have Connecticut winning now.
Oh God, I'm out the race. Have you guys been watching any of the women's girls, like the women's brackets?
Not a second of it.
Actually,
I feel bad.
I had on over here at the LSU. Who did they just play? The LSU, and I forgot who they were just playing, but it was a close game, and LSU just won. You know, with the whole Kim Mulkey allegations and whatnot going on. You know, they had to come out and get a dub real quick.
It was funny because it was like, never mind.
I'll talk about the Kim Mulkey thing. Basically, for those of you that haven't heard, Kim Mulkey last week, she went on a press conference unprompted to kind of get ahead of this Washington Post story that was going to come out here, and she wanted to deny all the allegations and say that there's a reporter doing a hit job on her. But if you read it, it's nothing that's going to surprise you. It's basically that she was a hard coach and she had some falling outs with players, particularly Brittany Griner, over her over her sexual orientation, which, I mean, obviously, it's never good for, a coach to be like that towards a player, but at the same time, it wasn't necessarily damning stuff. It was more or less, maybe she didn't necessarily agree with the lifestyle, but if you know Kim Mulkey, you really weren't surprised.
So are we just going to say what it is, or are we going to beat around the bush?
You said what?
Are we going to say what it is, or are we going to beat around the bush?
Use the words wisely, Jay.
Yeah, no, I mean, she's a conservative girl.
I'm just asking if we're gonna be honest on the show. Like, I thought we were honest.
We
here.
could be honest.
I went on Mud Talk and I said that we were honest and we were explicit. And shout out to Mud Talk as well too, man.
Are you saying she dogged her because she was a stud?
I mean,
she didn't. No, I actually read the piece and she didn't dog her. It was more like they were trying to beat around the bush as far as she doesn't believe in that lifestyle sort of thing. But
she don't believe in niggers. She don't believe in niggers dating niggers, and especially niggers dating their own race are the same niggers.
She's a Southern belle, so it is what it is.
Yeah, but like that has that, bro. The whole thing about that shit, bro. Like, you're coaching, like that has nothing to do with you. Like, let her like, fuck it. Anyways, though, like. Anyways, before this shit turned into something else, shout out Kim, man. Get another ring for us, man. Down there in the boot.
I'm going for. Hey, is South Carolina still in the tournament?
That's not happening.
South Carolina still in the tournament.
They are still in the tournament.
We going with South Carolina, man. Shout out Angel Reese, but we ain't fucking with Kim. She the ops.
Man. We going with LSU. Even though I agree with the shit that Kim put it, man.
Anyways,
are we switching to Mr. Nasty time or Sean?
Sean, you got some more? What you got for us? Anything else?
No, the only quick thing I wanted to touch on is that the FanDuel released some NFL win totals really early that they don't normally do. So real quick, I'll just go through them. I got 4 that I like so far. Cardinals. I like the Cardinals to go over their win total, which is set at 6.5. I think that they played a lot better than a lot of people thought they were. I think Kyler came back. He looked really healthy. They have a new coach in Shane Steichen that, obviously can prove that he can coach in this league. And not to mention that they're probably going to get Marvin Harrison Jr., so he'll just have another weapon for Kyler. So I think that's a good one to go after. I like the Texans over their win total, which is at 9.5 at plus money. I think they signed a lot of good free agents. They signed Danielle Hunter, which is going to add to their pass rush. They were able to sign Jeff Okudah as well as a free agent contract. So I think when you have a rookie quarterback like CJ Stroud, it can really help you build the whole team around him to where you can bring in those free agents. So I like that. Other one I like is the Ravens under 11.5 as far as their win total. You got to think about it as far as they're going to have a first place division schedule, which is always more harder in the NFL. And then also they lost 3 offensive linemen, which people don't talk about, but that's a pretty big deal to lose 3 starters on that offensive line. So I think you can go ahead and play that at under 11.5. And then the last one, I swear to God, it's not a homer pick, but we're going with the fucking Bucks over 7.5.
Oh my God!
That one,
Oh
they
my
still play in the
goodness.
NFC South.
7 is a gimme.
That's all I gotta say. They play in the NFC South.
Get 7 wins.
That's
Wait,
true.
8,
That's
I don't
fair,
know. It's 7.5. It's 7. They got to get 8.
They gotta get 8.
Let's do it.
I don't see that. I don't see that.
They went 9-8 last year.
I think okay. So there's a rumor I was just reading when I was kind of reporting on the news a little bit, and there's a rumor that y'all might be looking to shop Chris Godwin. Y'all get rid of Chris Godwin. Y'all ain't winning 8 games.
No, I mean at this point in the offseason, a lot of the trades and free agents have already been set. At this point, the only thing that really remains is the draft.
So, right?
Chris Godwin,
that's what they were saying. That's what they were saying. Is like they might trade him during the draft though. Like it's like a draft move type thing. And with Mike Williams now commanding the money that he's getting, they weren't really looking to pay Chris Godwin. And he's in the last year of his contract. So if he doesn't want to resign, they're losing him for nothing. So.
Well, the thing about the Bucs is I talk shit about the Steelers not wanting to go in rebuild mode, but the Bucs don't either. Jason Light has been in win now mode, so I don't think you sign Baker to that contract and want to trade his second best option. So I'd be shocked if Chris Godwin got traded. So I just like that win total just because they play in a weak division. They're bringing the most back. A lot of people are gonna try to ride with Atlanta, bringing in Kirk Cousins, but I mean, at the end of the day, we still don't know what you're going to get from them. And that's still going to be a new system that Desmond Ridder was the worst quarterback in God knows how long. But I think that's a good win total to go after is the Bucs 7.5.
Mm-hmm. And I will say a quick correction. You had said Shane Steichen was the Cardinals coach. He's a coach.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
I don't know who the hell. Oh, Gannon. Gannon is the Gannon.
They were both in the Eagles staff from the year before.
Yep.
So sorry about that. So
and Gannon is legit though. Like I do think, he's a really good coach, and I agree with you on. I think Kyler's gonna ball out. I like the over on the Cardinals. I like the under on the Eagles. Yeah, I love that one. I like the under on the Eagles as well too. I'm tiptoeing on that Buccaneers one that you said, bro. I want to have faith in the Falcons, but I don't think, like you said, Kirk Cousins coming off a torn Achilles, bro. Like, and he's 36 years old.
Right.
I'm not.
Rodgers.
You said what?
So Aaron Rodgers. I mean,
he partially tore his. Like, I mean, he was at least throwing the ball. You know what I'm saying? But like, Kirk Cousins had a complete tear of his. Like, and is he even gonna be back for the first game of the season? Like, is that even confirmed that he's even gonna be back for that game?
He'll be ready. But T. Cole, what do you think about the Jets? Curious because I got some thoughts on the Jets.
I think they're going to be solid, bro. Like they did a couple little moves I like. Only thing about the fucking Jets is the O-line. Like, did they beef up the O-line? Because that was the problem. They had weapons on offense. They got a couple receivers. Like they got Garrett Wilson. They got Tyler Conklin at tight end. And you got Breece Hall back there toting that goddamn pill like a madman. It's like you got weapons over there. It's like it's not like it's just nothing there. It's like you got pieces. The defense is nasty. You got Sauce and you got DJ Reed. You got Quinnen Williams. You got his brother over there at linebacker. You still got what's the other linebacker name? That from Bama?
Mosley.
Yeah, you got CJ Mosley. Like you got some pieces over there. Like I think they're moving in the right direction. I think Saleh got to lead though. I think I don't.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure their win total is at 9.5. I'll probably play the under on that one.
I'm taking the under on that.
So I will say the Jets did get one big piece to their offensive line. They got your boy T. Cole. They got Tyron Smith.
No, but he's injury prone. That's their
cooked, though.
problem.
I guess for him it's just more of a can he stay healthy type deal. But if he can't stay healthy, I mean, he gonna
What is
be
he,
he gonna be a
36?
problem. I feel like.
And he like
They
36, and he fucking like 36.
they got him
Yeah,
and they
but you
got
know
Mike.
how linemen are.
Yeah, they
They
play a
did,
long
and
time, but it's like, bro, he stays injured, bro. That's the reason Cowboys didn't pay
he
him.
does. Yeah.
Like that's the
So
only reason
there's
he didn't come back.
obviously.
And they
So I
got Mike
think he
Williams as
got
well
a.
too.
Yeah.
They did. So they made moves in the right direction. I feel
They
like
got
just to
they
help
got
the offense a
aging
little
they
bit,
got
but
they got aging injury prone
They got, bro,
um
they injured the whole fucking team.
yeah. Yeah.
I
Oh,
just can't
also
Gabe
get.
Davis might be coming back.
The only thing that scares me about the Jets is I really cannot get out of my fucking head that this man Aaron Rodgers literally snapped his leg on the fucking first play
first
of the
play,
year.
bro.
Like
That
that's
shit was
just
crazy.
First
That
pass
shit,
play of the year.
that shit was like
I,
I thought that shit was scripted, bro.
Blow,
I mean,
wasn't it?
was it though? Because I mean, the NFL had the Jets scheduled in a lot of
They
fucking
did for a
primetime
lot of
games.
primetime
Come on,
games.
they
So
had a Monday Night Football game. They played on Black Friday. They had the first ever Black Friday game in New York
yeah,
because of
and they
Aaron
got
Rodgers.
throttled by the Dolphins that game. So it's
Yeah. And that's why and that's also why I'm taking them on their under is because I mean they added some pieces, but like they added like we said, a 35, 36-year-old lineman. They added a 30-year-old receiver who can't stay healthy, who hasn't played a full season, I don't think ever in his NFL career, Mike Williams. And I
yeah.
love Mike. And I mean they got Garrett Wilson, which is a nice addition. They
You
still
don't
got
love Mike.
Brees. I do love Mike, man. I was actually sorry we got rid of Mike, more so than Keenan Allen, but
Okay.
it was rough though, and I don't, bro. They playing with the Bills, and I still think the Dolphins are going to be like. I think the Dolphins are still going to be in competition. I don't think they're ever going to win a playoff game or go deep in the playoffs, but I don't see them winning 9 games. I don't think, bro. Let's be honest here, bro. Miami can't compete. They got to get rid of Tua. If they want to compete, they got to
I
get rid
think
of Tua.
Miami might take a step back this year. That's another under that
I think so
I'll probably
too.
look at towards more of the
I
start
think
of
they
the year,
regress.
but
I think they regress as well, but I do think at the same time that they still are going to be above the Jets.
Yeah, they lost their whole defense.
They did. Well, and their defense was shit before that too, but they lost the defensive coordinator too, which was huge. They lost to Gangio.
Old niggas.
Yeah, they did.
Man, I want to speak to Mr. Nasty Time.
Let's get it, man.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Can't even wait for this one.
Welcome, Arrowhead House.
Hey.
So we got 3 nasty niggas this week. This is a new segment on Drunk Uggs podcast. We are bringing you a nasty nigga every week. And when I mean nasty, I mean nasty. Because why are you doing the shit that you're doing? So for the first one, we got Mr. P. Diddy himself, the diddler.
Take that.
If you guys don't know what he's been accused of, he's been accused of sex trafficking, rape, a couple other things. It's like it's a laundry list of shit. Fucking home security came and raided both of his homes. So it's like, Homeland Security ain't playing that shit. They coming to get you. So how do you guys feel about what's going on with Diddy? If you guys been reading to it, y'all think he did that shit?
We think he did that shit.
Hey, they saying he was sex trafficking girls under his little bunker underneath his house.
He had a bunker?
I believe that.
He had like an underground under pathway underneath his house.
These niggas is elite. Holy shit.
What you got it for? What you got that for?
Hey man,
Chavo had one for when he needed to escape.
Listen, the only thing they got him look, the only thing they got on him right now is that he had cameras in they found like 25 cameras in this nigga house. They said Diddy was using cameras to blackmail people at his crib. So he was having cameras put in the crib, and he had a mansion. Probably was in there fucking like rabbits, and he like, oh nigga, got your sex tape. You feel me? Now you got to do this.
So is that blackmail? I mean, that's blackmail. Hey.
See, he paid like $30 million for that shit.
So I mean, I read some other documents, and I don't know if they were legit. You got to take everything that you read on the internet now with a grain of salt. I don't try to be one of those people that get nut sacked or ball sacked or whatever it is, with the stories. But if what I read is correct, and I'm not going to repeat everything I said because they're allegations, and again, I don't know if they're true. So I don't want to be going around spreading false news. But if what I read was true, throw that nigga under the jail. Throw that nigga under the jail, like real talk. That nigga's sick, bro. That nigga. I mean, we've been knowing he's sick. Like and this is the thing too, though. It's like it's always funny. Is like when the allegations come out and everything comes out to the light. It's like like you start looking back on all the other shit and you like, yeah, that makes sense. Like I could see that. I could see that. Like, and I mean, and P Diddy and now niggas trying to compare him to my never mind. But you know they trying to compare him to hey, come on, man. Hey, I'm not.
You know what
so
me about this shit though? Like shit like this is, bro. Like when we get into topics like these, black people always say, "Oh, we tearing each other down." It's like, nigga, I'll talk about Dead Starter nasty ass too, and Brian Peck.
Hey, talk about all of it. Talk about all of it.
Right?
They all can. Like I'm not
all of it.
Like, hey, illegal is illegal. So
illegal is illegal,
it got nothing to do with.
But the reason we talk about our own people, I feel like, bro, is because we're black. Like honestly, like let's it's our media, bro. Like we're black. It was reporting on our news. Like I don't really give a fuck about Brian Peck in 2003. That was 21 years ago, bro. Like, and yeah, it's cool that it's coming out to light now, but nigga, I was 6-7 years old when I was happening. So Diddy is I've been listening to Diddy's, like I've heard Diddy in the car, you know what I'm saying? Like listening to this nigga, like, so it's different. Like we're gonna report on this because this is our culture. Like, of course, we're gonna sit here and talk about it. But yeah, man, and also, man, I'm just gonna let it go be known too. R. Kelly's getting played at my wedding.
Okay, you know what?
Step in the name of love. Step in the name of love.
You know what's
Groove in the name of love. Groove in the name of love.
I knew Diddy was a diabolical nigga when he made them niggas work that cheesecake. I know he was.
Hey, Dave Chappelle was a motherfucker for his skit on that one, wasn't he? For the Cambodian goat milk.
Some Cambodian breast milk.
Hey, man.
All right, man. So,
hey, man.
So I got another nasty nigga I want to touch base on, man. No Diddy. So I don't know if I heard about Le'Veon Bell with the OnlyFans shit, man.
Oh, man.
Have y'all heard about this shit?
Hey.
Is it nasty or is that just CTE?
Freaky Frog 14.
That just might be.
That's my nigga Tay.
That's just
my nigga Tay. A little bit of both, man. It's just like, bro, what? Like you got money already.
He might not. He might not. He might not. If he's boxing and shit, he might not have money.
That nigga might not have no money.
He's doing shit that you definitely do.
Nah, hey, you seen him? You seen his recent interviews where he was going in and he was saying pretty much how like it was the biggest mistake of his year to sit out that year, believe in Pittsburgh. Like that nigga's been internally reflecting and he's missing on all those millions that he sat out on like a dickhead because he down like 40. He down like 40 M's right now for that decision. So I mean, I think you're always gonna beat yourself up for 40 million when you make a dumbass decision. I was on you.
So why are these running backs going broke? Adrian Peterson, like his money shit's kind of fucked up. And then Le'Veon. I don't know like what it is about these running backs, but it seems like these running backs they don't know how to manage this shit.
I mean, I think a lot of it is, bro, is that it's the poor people around you, poor financial investors. Like, you know, Adrian Peterson thing is that they said his financial advisor was the one taking the money from him. You know what I'm saying? Like he got scammed. Like he's bad investments. There was a lot that he was doing that just he wasn't keeping his eye on, and I think that's a part of it.
You better
damn shame.
Strangle that nigga.
Damn shame.
But like you said, like Le'Veon, his shit was just like the OnlyFans shit kind of like it tweaked me out. Like if you get money by any means, but like I feel like either like OnlyFans and like the boxing events now that's kind of like filing black bankruptcy now. Like in the hood, like if you see a nigga doing boxing events now, like that money's running out. Like if you see a nigga on that flyer with them gloves on, like Pac-Man Jones getting knocked the fuck out of everybody. The nigga with the long ass arms.
Not everyone can be Jake Paul. Not everyone got that formula.
I was gonna say.
Logan Paul. Shit.
These niggas are getting by plumbers, man.
These niggas are taking a dive. These niggas are taking a dive for that check. They got to take that dive for that check.
Have some fucking integrity. Go get a real job if you're gonna do that.
I'd rather you do OnlyFans to get in the ring.
What do you mean? Now, what do you mean by that, Jay?
Okay, yeah, what do you mean by that?
What do you mean by that, Jay?
Hey, man, yo, I'm just saying. I'm not watching the boxing matches, nor am I watching OnlyFans. But I would rather you, if you're gonna do one of the two, man, don't be going into shit that's gonna give you more CTE. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, like. There's a lot of motherfuckers with OnlyFans pages. Just go ahead and follow your wave, and that's what you're gonna do, bro. Don't be in the boxing ring publicly admitting yourself.
What happened to like wanting to be like going like coaching? Like, can none of these dudes? Well,
That's what I'm
the
saying.
CTE might. Now the CTE might play a part.
Conditioning coach, something like something.
Once you get a couple cases, it's kind of hard to start coaching at that point.
I want to leave out the kid. I can tell you that. So yeah, you're right.
Once you get a couple cases, it's kind of hard to start coaching. So these niggas got to start.
Yeah, so awesome. Won't punch a face, but will punch cheeks. Kinky as fuck on here, man. Kinky.
Hey, Freaky Frog 14. Shout out Taylor.
Freaky Frog 14. Hey, man. I want another. So I got two more. Man, so
hey, we gonna throw Taylor in this nasty nigga segment. I'm gonna throw him in there just as an honorable mention for that 10 million. For that 10 million that he said. Look, I ain't gonna go into too many details. Hey, but if it's some money in front of Taylor and it's you in front of Taylor, you might want to get out that way.
Hey, that's crazy.
Don't put no money in front of Taylor. That money.
Hey, but go ahead. Go with your other two.
All right, man. So the next one I got is Jontay Porter, man. This shit is this is probably one of the weirder cases of prop bets because
not even weird.
Yeah, it's like, but like, what is going on with this? So like, I'm seeing different stories. I'm seeing all this other shit about Jontay Porter. I can't really get a good consensus of really what's going on because he played like 19 minutes one game. And he was going. Then in the second game, he played like 3 minutes for eye restrictions. And every game that he played in that 3-day period was like, everybody was betting on his props, like all three, like $10,000, $15,000. Who the fuck is betting $20,000 on Jontay Porter?
So let me tell you. So basically, what I gathered from the story was, so I guess back when he first got into the league, he was like big on like, I was during COVID, so he was big on like cryptocurrency and like day trading and whatnot. And I guess he had a full ass like Discord about it. So obviously, so the props for the game that you were talking about, the game that he got hurt,
3-pointers.
He was his props were like 5.5 points, 3.5 rebounds, and then like maybe like 1-3.
Yeah,
1-3. And basically what everybody's thinking happened is he went to this Discord and was like, everybody bet my unders, like I'm about to fake this injury, like whatever. Because bro, like they so basically each NBA team has their own division for like watching all the prop bets, all the bets that are placed on the team on that game for that day. And then the NBA has their own division that does it for every team in NBA. So they got multiple eyes on it at all times. So it's like the fact that he went like it's Jontay Porter. It's not like this nigga's gonna be. It's not like his like. Oh well, let me hammer his over 5.5 points. You can get that, no problem. Like nobody is going to place a $5 bet on Jontay Porter, let alone a $10,000 like that's just crazy. And the fact
who has the money to do that anyway as well too. On top of that,
unless you know it's gonna hit,
right.
Like, he was probably telling them like, hey, take out your mortgage, like you could take out a second mortgage, like do whatever you gotta do, like it's gonna hit.
It's gonna hit. I got you. That nigga got the hand like this. That nigga shot a 3 and did this.
My
Saudi made it.
I scratched my eye. Like, like that's just crazy, bro. Like people don't like the NBA players are like anybody in general that bets, you know, and that professional athletes that bet like Calvin Ridley, whatever. Like they don't really understand like how hard it is for them, for people in general, to get to that spot, making millions of dollars, playing the game that you have been playing your whole life and only saw yourself playing like as a professional growing up. That's what you wanted to be. So it's like, how do you get to that point and be like, oh, let me go win $20,000 on a bet on myself, like to be ass, to bet on yourself, to be ass, like not even to ball out, like there are people that bet on themselves to actually win the games. Like, come on, man, that's just crazy.
Yeah, I think now too, like you said, Jimmy, it's kind of nastier now because it's like, especially in the NBA, like these niggas is making more money than the niggas have ever made before, bro. And it's like, even as a nigga like Jontay Porter, where you're not even playing a lot of minutes or you just a bench, like them niggas are still getting what, $5 million, you know what I'm saying, a year or something like that, bro. Like where the minimum used to be 800,000, like just 10 to 15 years ago. Like it's not like these niggas are needing the money. Now the NFL is a little bit different because they get paid a little bit differently. They pay scales a little bit differently. They don't get paid as much. There's a lot more players on a roster. I mean, but not really though, because Brock Purdy, for example, his yearly salary is $800,000. So it's like
that's still good.
But he was. It is good money, but bro, I guess great money. Like I would be I'd be dancing all over the place for $800,000.
Yeah,
Pause.
for a
No
team,
Diddy.
though.
No Diddy. But look, niggas got to be real careful today. But I'm just saying, like, in NFL it's a little bit different, bro. But in NBA niggas is making good money. So if you ought to be going out here and then doing some extra shit like that, and it's a problem, bro. Like, and it's a problem that's going to persist because sports betting isn't going anywhere at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're just going to hear more stories about this of people taking their unders. Obviously, we got the Shohei Ohtani, which we were going to kind of talk about a little bit, but we didn't really have too much of a background on to really fully talk about right now. But
we'll talk about that when the details come.
Yeah, when the details come out. But you know, you just got because it's just a lot of rumors and smoke and mirrors right now. But it's like, I think you're going to see a lot more of this. This is only the beginning with sports betting now becoming legal in a lot more states. So just get prepared and be prepared to hear these stories a lot more and see a lot more people getting suspended for a long amount of time.
Crazy.
The thing I don't like that's going on right now is that you see like actual teams tweeting out their lines about player props. I think I've seen a couple baseball teams already tweeting about their people getting already their strikeouts and already. I don't like the actual team accounts actually tweeting about that. I think that's where we're starting to get to like a scary place with it.
Yeah, I agree. And even
that shit is weird to me, bro, because like now it's like I feel like y'all gonna fleece me if I bet this, and it's like, but sometimes if you catch it on the right side, you feel me? They bring it. It's kind of like a boost when I see it. Like when I see that shit, I'm like, oh, that's kind of like a boost. Stay away from that shit. If I see a team tweeting out, oh, he's on a hot streak of 20 games nope, stay away from that shit.
And it was one of those. It was a specific game this season that showed me that, bro. And I'm gonna go back a little bit more specific. It was a Boston versus Detroit Pistons game when Detroit was on that 27 game losing streak, and at that point the game was like 25, maybe there was like 25 or 24 in a row that they had lost, and they looked like they're about. Jimmy, we both bet on this game, I believe, like because we were on the game that night talking about it. If you remember this one, and this is like mid-season, about maybe November, December, and Detroit's rolling. Detroit looks like they're about to win the game, right? And there's a call that kind of stopped the game, and you seen the refs go over. Then they get the headphones on, and they start looking at the monitor. And I specifically told Jimmy at this point, because we were on the game together, I said, Vegas just made the call in right now to that team and said, hey, yo, to the refs, like, it's too much money on Detroit right now. We can't pay this shit out. And that's really how I'm not suicidal, so if I come up missing. But, hey, like, I really feel like Vegas be in there making calls, man. Vegas be making calls for these games, man. Like, for sure, 1,000%. Yeah. So.
See, now, I really think with like, I don't know, people think like Vegas calls and stuff. People gotta understand, like this is just like a betting tip in general. People gotta understand like it's a market. So if more people are betting the Pistons, they're gonna move the line away from the Pistons. So that's one thing people do gotta understand about Vegas, is that it's a market. So I mean, I get what you're saying, like the fix is in, but I think really what it comes down to is the player props can get a little. That's where we can get a little dicey because there's too much like responsibility on one player that can, dictate the money. So I think the player process is really specifically where you might see some fishy activity.
Well, Jason Tatum was just saying the other day, they asked him specifically about fans or people in general that are like saying something to him about prop bets, and he said, yeah, he hears it all the time, like in game, like we need you to hit one more three, or we need you to score 30 points in the first half, or we need you to do this and that. And it's like, he hears it all the time. And, he said, you hear all the times about other, athletes that say, we don't care about your props. And, we're just playing the game. Like we want to win the game. And that's pretty much what he was saying. And I feel like every player, not every player, but I feel like a lot of the young people that are always like Jason Tatum, for example, that is in social media and sees all the things that people say and hear about him, or hear what people say about him. It's like, he said, I do kind of feel bad, like if I don't get my props or whatever, just because people are betting on me. So it's like, obviously at the end of the day, they don't really care. They just go out and play the games. But it's like most of the time, like these players don't care about what our props are. Like, and that's why it's like, if a team's getting blown out, you take Jason Tatum score 30 points in 8 and he scores 25 and they're up 30, like he's not going to finish the rest of the game. Like, and that's just on you. And that's why, like to Sean's point, like prop bets get tricky because you could get blowouts and there could be discrepancies where somebody gets a foul, whatever the case may be. But it's like, you gotta be smart with your bets, and it's not up to the players to hit your bets. It's up to you to make the smart bet and
I agree, man.
Make the right pick.
That's it for Mr. Nasty Time. Thank you for joining me at Uncle Elroy's house. I appreciate y'all for doing Nasty Time with me, man. Jimmy, take us away with trivia, man. Get us into that.
All right, y'all. So basically, we talked a lot about college basketball today, and I feel like with it being, the beginning of the Elite Eight, felt like it would be right to ask some college basketball related questions, specifically around the tournament. So, first question I have for y'all was: there are 5 teams that made it to the Final Four as an 11 seed, and obviously now we have an 11 seed that could potentially go to the Final Four with NC State, and they would be the 6th team. Who was the last team, the last 11 seed to make it all the way to the Final Four? Y'all have any ideas? Any guesses?
I just seen this video. I just seen a video on Facebook. Fuck.
I'm just gonna take my shot.
It was a couple years ago. So if y'all,
it wasn't Villanova, was it?
It was not Villanova. I don't think Villanova's ever been an 11 seed.
Yeah, I just seen
once or twice.
Was it Michigan State?
It was not Michigan State. So
Do we get a conference? Do we get a conference?
A conference? Yeah, go ahead, deliberate. Do what y'all got to do.
No, I'm saying
No, give us the conference.
Oh, I feel like if I give you a conference, it'll give it away. I'll give you. It's a
Is it a major? Hold on. Is it a power? Is it a Power 5?
Well, no.
Power 5.
Power 5 West Coast. USC, UCLA, Oregon.
It was UCLA. I should have gone Power 5. It was UCLA.
Okay.
Back in 2021.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
I take my shot anyway. Shot anyway.
Yeah.
And before then, it was Loyola Chicago back in 2018. Sister Jean and them. You know,
she's still alive.
She is still alive.
I don't know.
By a miracle.
Say, she might.
Hey, go.
By a miracle.
By a miracle. By a miracle is crazy. By a miracle is crazy.
Taking over a thread. Oh,
she lived a long life. She'd have seen her team go to the Final Four. Like she's probably up in her like close to 100.
Yeah.
Hey man, it might be time. Never mind. I'm gonna just stop my comments, man.
Shout out Sister G. Just came back. I don't know.
Oh shit! Hey, shout out Sister G, man. Shout out Sister G.
She's seen a lot.
She's seen a lot, man. And she was probably calling us niggers back in the day too. But go ahead, man.
Could you imagine a loose ball going by her?
Nigga,
can you imagine a loose ball? Imagine a nigga ran and got
that's all I hear. That's all I hear.
Turn the powder out there, nigga. She have been out there.
Hey,
man. Hey, somebody cover for the loose ball.
No, but real talk though.
That's why she's always up in the booth.
But real talk though. Shout out to Sister Jean, man. Shout out to Sister Jean. Real talk.
She did her thing. She willed them. She willed the what's their mascot? They were like the Bulldogs or something. Loyal Chicago Bulldogs or whatever.
I'm not familiar with it.
Shout out to
Chicago.
All right. So obviously, next question. We have a lot. No, yeah, you might with this question actually. Might get you there.
Got a lot of questions.
What team? Got a couple. Which team won the first ever NCAA tournament? Come on, I mean, who won the first NCAA tournament? First NCAA tournament. Who won?
Indiana.
Nope.
This is gonna sound stupid, but was it Ohio State?
Nope. Ohio State lost in that national championship game.
Fuck yeah. I was like, yeah, I thought it. Yeah, damn.
No, Oregon. So you were on to something.
Was it Oregon?
Oregon Webfoots.
Yeah. Yep.
Damn. Hey, Shaw was close though. Holy shit. Okay.
He was close. Hey, no,
I said Oregon. It was Oregon.
Yeah, it was Oregon. Okay.
I have no more.
Hey, look.
I got 2 more questions. I got 2 more questions.
Cole gonna be the drunk ones on this bitch.
I have nothing.
Yeah, probably. Look, he already finishing the bottle. Okay, so which school has the most NCAA tournament wins all time? Not national championship wins. I'm just talking about wins in general.
Kentucky.
I'm about to say North Carolina.
Nope.
Or fuck.
North Carolina.
Duke.
There's North Carolina.
Yeah.
North Carolina.
North Carolina has 132 wins, and UK is second with 131. You were right there.
Oh wow.
Yeah. All right. So last question. This is probably like an easier question, but I mean maybe for Sean, but I don't know about T. Cole and Jay. This is up
these
in the
all
air,
Is this the March Madness one as well?
Yep, the last one. So will UConn?
I'm just gonna take my shot real quick. No.
Listen to the question. You might be able to answer it. That's why I said it's up in the air for y'all. So
Jay just wants
obviously
to drink.
UConn he does at this point because he's gonna drink again once he gets his answer wrong.
Sure am.
So UConn obviously they're the favorites to win a national championship for the second straight year, which would make Dan Hurley a multi-time national championship winner. There's one other coach in college basketball right now that has multiple national championship victories that's active. Who is
Men
it?
and women or just men?
Huh? Men. Because obviously women, you
One
could
other
go and
coach.
say
One other coach has multiple championships in college basketball right now.
Yep. There's one active head coach that has 2 national championships.
What coach has 2 national
obviously you
championships right now?
Because
And you said
Oh,
men.
I had to say
Men's.
no,
it's men's. That's what I said. I knew Sean knew it. Hold on, wait.
Oh,
I was
Bill.
gonna say,
No.
Bill Self,
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
it is. Yeah. Bill Self. Yeah.
Kansas. Because I was gonna say, because obviously you have Coach K that won multiple.
Yep.
You got
y'all trying to kick me out the stream because I knew
Jay
it.
Wright.
Trying to kick me out.
Yeah, Jay Wright.
Nope, not
Roy,
so fast.
Roy Williams is
Back with the
is one of them at that point. I think they had won multiple.
Is he still coaching?
No, Roy Williams.
Yeah.
retired.
Oh, he's got a
Roy Williams.
lifetime contract there. Yep.
I don't
Who?
know if
Bill
Roy
Self?
Williams has 2.
No, Roy Williams retired. Roy Williams is retired.
No, Roy Williams.
But I don't know.
Did he have 2? I
But
thought
I
he
don't
won
know.
one
Yeah, he
because
has
he
2.
won one in 27.
Does
Was
he
it
have
2017, 2016 or something like that? They
he
won
did
another
with Tyler
one.
Hansbrough and them. Yeah, they
He
did
won
with
one in
Tyler
like
Han-
20.
with
Yeah,
Tyler
like
Hansbrough.
we was in like middle
against
school.
Butler.
Yeah,
How many
and
coaches
then they
he got?
won.
Roy Williams
And then they
has
won
3,
later
I'm
on.
pretty sure.
He might have 3.
What's that?
How much
He
coach?
might
Roy
have.
Williams has 3.
You see how many Coach K got?
Yeah.
Coach K has 5.
I think.
I'm
Jesus.
sorry, ass, honestly. It sounds right.
Jesus.
I'm looking right now.
Roy Williams
So-
at least has at least 2.
I think he's underachieved.
No, he might because I think he
Let
won with Kansas too. So
me be
Okay.
nasty. I say he underachieved.
Who?
that is kind of being nasty. That is kind of being nasty.
Coach K? You said Coach K underachieved?
Roy.
Oh.
You
Well,
got to think about how hard it is to win a national championship in
I mean,
basketball.
shit,
That's just
Calipari's
damn
only
near
won
impossible.
Oh, Roy has 3. Calipari does only have 1.
But he's
Yeah.
the
Does only
greatest
have
supporter of
one.
all time, so that kind of waves that off. He put the most niggas in the NBA.
Not really though,
Bro,
I mean,
that,
yeah,
I'm
but
okay. So
here's
I'm glad.
So
I'm glad we talk about that. Go ahead,
Can I
Jimmy.
ta-
Go ahead.
can I touch on that real quick as a Kentucky
Excuse me.
supporter, as a Kentucky supporter?
Can you do what?
Touch
Take
on the
that.
subject. Let me touch on the
Oh,
subject
you're reaching.
of the college basketball.
He said, "Can I touch on
Yeah, that's
that
what
real
I'm saying.
quick?" I mean, Jesus Christ,
Anyways,
what are we doing here? Y'all niggas gonna get
Cal,
on me because I said
what-
Girthy. You ain't gonna jump on him.
Girthy is
Well, I have
crazy.
learned-
That was way more extreme. That was way more extreme. But go ahead,
Yeah,
Jimmy.
come on. So what
Can't
I've
say
learned
Girthy.
about Cal, and me being, I haven't been a Kentucky fan for a super long time. I mean, since I started going there, really. So, but what I've learned is, other than the national championship team that they won with AD back in AD and Michael Kidd Gilchrist back in 2012, he's had, outside of the year that they didn't win a national championship when they got screwed against Wisconsin in the Final Four in 2014. Like, he's had guys. So I mean, obviously he produces NBA talent, but like, he don't ever coach them in college basketball. Like, I love Kentucky, obviously, and I love supporting them and their basketball school, but it's like they've had so many good players and so many good rosters on their guys over the years, and they just have not been able to get to that next level. Like, you look at Bill Self that's won multiple championships. You look at all these other coaches that have won multiple titles with the same team, and it's like they bring in the same amount of talent. They put in the same amount of guys in the NBA for the most part. Obviously, Kentucky
Less
exceeds
talent.
that by a little bit. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, for the most part, that's what it is. But it's like, this year specifically, yes, Kentucky was great on offense, second highest scoring team in the league, in the country this year. But defensively, they were just trash. And it was like, I don't understand how you have this talent on your team and you can bring them in and you can recruit them and say all the right things you need to say to get them to come play for the team. But when they come play for the team, it's like, what else are you doing at that point? You just want to get them to the league? Like, you just want to improve on their individual stats and their abilities? Or do you want to try and win a national championship and actually give players a reason to want to come play for you, rather than just, oh, it's Kentucky, we're a basketball school, Drake is a big fan of us? Like, that's not going to push the needle anymore, especially with this money in the NIL being a thing. Players are going to start playing for other teams, maybe with a chance to win a national championship, and he doesn't really have the guys that he can build a team around every year, because it's the same guys and all they care about is getting to the league. They don't care about winning a national championship or playing in these college games. It's not important to them.
I
So
think
it's like,
for
it's
Calipari
great
is
to be
like
a recruiter.
it is, and I think that's what he'll always be. I don't think Calipari is ever gonna run into the issue of not being able to get guys to come to Kentucky as long as he's there. I think the issue is him actually retaining and developing some of that talent that he gets when they come through Kentucky. Because the thing is like, just as much as he puts players in the NBA, a lot of these players recently haven't really been panning out too much. I mean, Tyrese Maxey is one of them. Tyler
Alright,
Hero's been
well,
okay.
That's kind of false.
Tyler Hero's
I
been
was gonna say
okay,
that's false.
but
That's
like,
false.
bro, okay,
Shea?
let's say this: Kentucky puts out about 3 or 4 a year, bro, and only one of them come out that are like actually pretty good. Like, let's be real.
Shea?
I mean, they're probably gonna have like 4 All NBA players from Kentucky
Easily.
this year. You got
Or-
Shea.
Do you see how many
Oh,
Kentucky
Shea.
All-Stars there were?
Here-
I mean, you got Shea. You got
AD.
Cats had a pretty good year.
Okay, but AD
Devin
is
Booker
from.
is going to be All NBA.
Oh my
I mean,
God! Here we go.
Julius
Here we go.
Randle.
Here
Well,
we go.
he would have been All NBA if he stayed healthy. So that's a little.
Yep.
I think that's a little. That's
All right, all right. So all these NBA, all these All NBA players and not a damn championship of one. So what is going on? What's the miscommunication?
I mean,
What's
AD got a championship. Like
exactly. That's the
Are you
only
talking about
one.
in the NBA.
I'm talking about no. I'm talking about he's put out all these NBA players but can't win it. Yeah,
Oh,
he can't win a national
that's what-
championship.
yeah.
But it's like so.
Right.
And I mean NBA. I mean them niggas ain't winning no rings either, except for AD.
Okay,
Right.
you know
That's
what?
fair.
Hey,
Jamal
Am I
Murray just won
lying?
a ring.
oh yeah, Jamal Murray did get one.
Jamal
Jamal
Murray
Murray
did
did
get
get
one.
one.
He did
Yeah,
get
yeah,
one.
Let's
That's
wrap
two.
this up because
That's
I
two.
know Jay's about to pop in a nasty bag.
I'm not. I'm not at all. I'm just
Um,
as confused as what are we saying here. Like, we really got to be honest about Calipari, and it's about time that we are honest about the subject of it. Is should he be coaching Kentucky further as we go on, bro? Because what are you
I mean,
really doing?
oh,
here?
I think who else?
Go ahead, T. Cole.
I think who else is it going to be?
So yeah, that's what it come down to. For me, that's like who else gonna coach him?
I
Who
mean, I
else
don't
gonna
know.
bring the talent that
You
he
always
brings?
ask that question. Who else would be after Bill Belichick? Who else would be after Coach K? Who else would be after Roy Williams? We don't know. Like, you don't know until you get to that point. Who else is after Nick Saban? Like, you really don't know until you get to that point of crossing that bridge. But the thing is, you can't continue with the same status quo of bringing these guys in. And Bill Self, who's Kansas put out that's been great in the NBA in the last couple of years, and they still winning championships. So let's just be honest
Andrew
about
Wiggins
what
won
we're
a
really
title.
looking at here.
Joel Embiid. But yeah.
That was how many years ago, bro?
I mean, how often do you want a fucking NBA legend? Jay?
No, I'm
Like,
just
damn,
saying,
you
but
want- you
I'm
want
saying
an
Kansas.
All-NBA
I'm
player
saying out
to
of
come
all
every
schools.
class?
I'm saying out of
That's
all
how it works.
schools though. Like Duke has still been putting out players as recent. Kentucky's still been putting out players as recent. A lot of like Kansas really hasn't been in the last couple of years, last 5 to 6 years, and they're still competing at a higher level than what Kentucky is doing. So that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, it's
The
just
only,
culture at
hey,
the end
well,
of the day,
the only
too.
thing I'll say real quick is it's weird that Calipari gets all the hate, but people don't talk about Tom Izzo only having one championship.
That is true too.
No, that's true. And he won that in
That's
2000.
true too. That's true. That's a good point.
Speak
That's a
on
good
it.
point. Drink on it. Drink on it.
Speak on-
Very true.
I wish I could drink on it, but I ain't got no drink. I drink all my liquor because I'm a drunk unk.
Hey, brother.
But
I don't think Cal's going anywhere anytime
No, I don't think he
I
is
just-
either, though. I don't think he is either.
bro, I
But-
think y'all done. Y'all good?
Yeah, man. I
Yeah,
think I
oh,
got
yeah,
everything
that's-
off my
that's-
chest now.
I'm
Everything-
good. We went an hour and a half. I think we're good.
Herbert,
Yeah.
Herbert for MVP.
Hey man, thank you for joining us at Drunk Unk Podcast. I think next Friday we're gonna be in the same type of situation until spring break is over, which is April 8th. So that following weekend we will be back in the studio. Shout out to Many Faces Podcast, Village Academy, Black Lido. Let's continue to keep this thing going, man. Season 2, episode 2, man. Appreciate y'all guys for joining us. GG's.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Appreciate
GG's in the
y'all.
chat.
Appreciate
GG's in the
y'all.
chat, man.
Yeah, guys.